Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of AWAARA. I am Alishba Feroz and this is my co-host Hafsa Qazi.
Hello everyone. Hi Alishba.
Hi
How are you?
Hafsa. Okay, continue.
Okay, so we have another interesting guest, Sajeer Shaikh. Hello Sajeer.
Hi guys.
Hi
Doing?
Sajeer.
And she is a journalist and she is working as a freelancer. So just
Okay.
tell about yourself.
Okay, so I am a journalist. I've been working for the past 8 years. I like writing. I've been writing since the age of 8.
Ooh.
I wrote a book when I was 10. And yeah, I've just pretty much been writing my entire life. I joined the writing industry, media industry around when I was 18 with the Express Tribune. I used to write op-eds for them. Then I transitioned to Mango Buzz and I was there for 6 years. And after that, I've just been working as a freelancer here and there, you know.
So it's pretty impressive that you wrote a book at the age of 10.
Yeah, it's a poetry book.
Oh, so what made you write that book?
Honestly, I think people around me just were like bored. So they were like, अच्छा ये लिखती है तो हम publish कर लेते हैं. Because I have no memory of that book. Like, I don't know how that book performed. I have no idea. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I have like one copy left. But I mean, it was a cute thing to do, for my parents to have done for me. Like, I don't know, it was cute. I remember there being like a ceremony and like really awesome people being there. एंड उस वक्त तो मतलब कोई इम्पोस्टर सिंड्रोम था ही नहीं ना. आई वाज लाइक नहीं, मतलब मैंने जो काम कर दिया है ना, अब इसके बाद तो कुछ अच्छा, मतलब आई विल नेवर लाइक आउट डू माई सेल्फ आफ्टर दिस. बट या लाइक आई मीन it was cute. When I go back and I look at it, I'm like, yeah, okay, she couldn't write, but she tried. So it's fine.
And she's still writing.
Still writing. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, I've been really curious to ask this ever since I've started following you. Is that why did you go for journalism?
Again, so I've been writing forever, and it's honestly the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, I'm not a maths person. From the bottom of my heart, I hate science as a field. I did 2 years of med school, and I was like, this is possibly the worst thing to happen to humanity. Like, I hate it. I would recommend people to stay away from the field.
Mutual feelings.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just trauma to unpack in therapy, so I'm not gonna go there. But it's I feel like writing is the only thing that made sense to me at a very low point in my time as well. You know, when I was in med school, nothing else was helping. So yeah, I just kept writing, and eventually one day I was like, you know what, I should be a journalist. Like, I wanted to since the age of 10. Why not? Had people warned me that there's no money in journalism, maybe I would have changed my mind earlier. But now we're here, and I'm a journalist, and this is how things are.
Yeah, because हम लोग की next semester हमें major choose करना पड़ेगा अपना film making और journalism में से.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in politics and talking about it on a certain platform.
Right.
Obviously, university does not give you a platform like that. You cannot talk about stuff like that.
True.
So, but I also like filmmaking. That's why I'm confused. But,
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the confusion grows as you move forward in university, because I had the same confusion. You know, like filmmaking is long hours. It's really hard. Like, it's hard work. Like,
Yeah, it
when I
is.
compare it to journalism, it's like proper hard work.
Yeah.
It's totally a field work ना, तो आपकी पूरी
exactly.
body आपको अपना mental, physical हर चीज़ देनी होती है.
Exactly. And the downside, I feel like, particularly for women, is again the fact that we do have certain things holding us back. For instance, let's say you graduate by the time you're 22, 23, I'm assuming. You know, like, you have to get married, like the long hours become hard, and like 50 चीज़ें होती हैं that hold you back. People are doing it regardless, and I think that's brilliant. But it does require a lot of discipline and sacrifice from your end as a person. So I think that's something for you to decide, definitely. Journalism, again, it's good work. It's work that sometimes will make you very happy, and then at other times, it's you're not going to be able to say certain things, and you're not going to feel so great about that as well. So it's really with journalism. I feel like I've started to develop like a love-hate relationship where it's like I know what I have to say, but um, can I really say those things given the context of the situation? So yeah, like I mean, it's a hard decision, but at the end of the day, I would just say think long term. You know, I mean, I chose journalism because I know it's something I can keep doing for the rest of my life.
I get you because मुझे अभी से ये चीज़ realize हो रही है क्योंकि I cannot say some things in my even in my class without offending people, and that's not even the main thing. The main thing is that is the teacher even going to let you speak?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if they do, you are going to speak, and then it might affect your friendships and your relationships.
Your grades for that matter, man. Like honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So again, like I've been very fortunate. Like again, I would credit my university to a certain extent. Uh, because I was the outspoken kid in class who was fighting with every teacher, you know. So, I mean, I'm really glad that it didn't like impact my grades. It probably impacted my friendships. I don't know, but I mean, at a certain point, like it's also about picking your battles, right? Like, I mean, uh, I was just talking to a friend on the way here, and हम लोग औरत मार्च की बात कर रहे थे, and I was like, you know, there's so much criticism regarding certain things that are being done, and just tackling every aspect of that gets very emotionally taxing. It's a lot of labor, and it impacts you in a very negative way, right? So honestly, वही बात है, picking your battles, like know what to stand up for when you need to like sit back down, what you can write about, what you can't write about. इस वक्त मुझे stand लेके बोलना है कि नहीं इसके बारे में मुझे लिखना है, and मैं अगर आप मुझे platform नहीं दोगे तो मैं कोई और platform, I will create a platform, I will utilize another platform, and knowing when to say कि okay, you know what, this is probably something that is best handled by someone else.
And even if you're not like speaking up for what you believe in, you're still miserable.
Yeah.
And even if you do speak about it, you're miserable either way.
Yeah.
So it's better to be miserable and believe in yourself and stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, things get convoluted as you move on, like, you know, with external pressures and whatnot, and everything being so heavily politicized, and there being penalties for, you know, whichever side of the aisle you're on. But yeah, like, for sure, I mean, if you are miserable and you feel the need to speak up about something, and it'll make you feel better, or it'll make you feel like you've done your part, 100% go for it.
Right. And like you told us like you were a journalist. So being a journalist, have you ever faced like you definitely face some problem in the industry. So what do you think like being a journalist, क्या-क्या चीज़ें face करने को मिली जो नहीं संभाल पाई होंगी आप and stuff?
Especially as a woman.
Yeah, especially as a woman.
Yeah, so it's one thing to start out as a woman. It's another thing to start out as a young woman who has no idea what the field is like. You know, I don't have any family in the media industry. I come from a family of doctors, so I don't have the advantage of being a nepo kid either. Like, and it you definitely have to work a lot harder. You are probably taken less seriously in the beginning, and there's so much exploitation, like in terms of being underpaid or just and overworked for that matter. In terms of, I don't like, there's censorship as well. Like, there's so many issues, man. Like, there's so many issues. But you roll with the punches. Like, I mean, you learn and you grow, and you hopefully reach a point where you're able to tackle it in a way that is beneficial for you, the platform you're working for, and like can keep सबका peace of mind, you know.
And censorship की बात अगर करें तो it reminds me of the Khalil Rahman and Marvi Sarmat incident. It at that time I was really young. Obviously I'm still young, but I was learning a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, since you belong from a really, we all belong from a really conservative typical society, so my opinions, my views were really clouded by that. तो मुझे but I knew something was wrong, but I just couldn't place it. और फिर वो incident हुआ, and everyone was supporting it. I was like, should I or should I not? I mean,
Right.
I should learn about it first. So
Right.
I just found some Instagram pages. Thank God I found. अगर I just think back, अगर मैं नहीं मुझे मिलते तो I would have never, been here.
उसी thinking के साथ
Yeah.
बड़ी होती है और फिर
Exactly,
वही,
हाँ.
yeah.
It did it, that one, like, few Instagram accounts impacted me a lot, and I actually learned about that incident and started to form my own views, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that I do have my own views.
Yeah.
But since that, like, it has been like 3 years, right?
It's been
It
a
happened
while,
in
yeah.
2020, right?
I suppose. I have no idea. I mean.
So उसके बाद भी बहुत सारे खलील और रहमान वाले
Yeah.
इंसिडेंट्स हुए हैं, और औरत मार्च पे वी ऑल नो थ्रेड्स वगैरह आते हैं.
Yeah.
I think ये हर साल का है, controversies
Yeah.
हर साल बनती हैं.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you have a platform, you also have to make certain decisions, right? Who do you want to share that platform with? Do I want to share it with Khalil Rahman Kamal? Do I want to share it with Feroz Khan? Do I want to share, like, who do I want to share my platform with, right? And something that I've learned from, again, Shehzad, who does the Pakistan experience, is that it's also very important to have conversations with people from the other side of the aisle, because it's very easy for me to sit here and say कि नहीं, मर्द तो कुछ समझते ही नहीं है, और मर्द मतलब हमारा औरतों का valid to a certain extent, but at the same time, and again, like, if I'm saying कि okay, औरतों का इतना % domestic violence, and a man comes up to me and says, okay, but men also go through this, like, how many times will I say कि why do you have to have this conversation when women are speaking, right?
Yeah,
At a
exactly.
certain point, I'm also gonna have to be like, okay, so there are men's issues, no one's talking about men's issues, men aren't talking about men's issues, let's just finally address it. Like, there will be
Yeah.
a point where you finally want to address certain things. Same thing with left wing, right wing, right? Like, you eventually want to have that conversation that creates some form of middle ground, or creates the possibility for a middle ground, gives us an answer, is there a middle ground? And we have that avenue, right? So yeah, like, it's a difficult line to walk when you think about who to platform and who not to platform. But again, like, if I'm talking about, like, transgender issues, I'm not going to call Maria B, like,
Yeah.
so it's also about, am I making a decision from a place of informing the public, or am I making a decision from a place of, okay, mujhe views chahiye?
Basically
And
targeted audience.
yeah, want views? Do I want to give out information? And unfortunately, it's great that you are somebody who decided to inform yourself about certain things, but there are a lot of people who don't want to do that, and who don't even know that they're misinformed. तो और अगर जब आप उनको इन्फॉर्म करना, अगेन, लाइक, हर चीज़ में अगर आपका एंड ऑल बी ऑल इसके नहीं, बट मज़हब ये कहता है, लेकिन आपको मज़हब के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं है, आपने कुछ रिसर्च नहीं किया, आपने एक कुछ उठा के आप ले आए और आपने बोला ये, हाउ कैन यू एज अ पर्सन like openly say that my religion is something that calls for the murder of, like, transgender people? Like, I don't understand that, like, I will never understand that, because what I was taught was कि, like, religion is essentially peace and, like, love and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
तो मुझे ये बातें समझ नहीं आती, मुझे गुस्सा आता है जब लोग I'm not saying who, but, like, people use religion to as a tool to connect with the masses and sell their products. But yeah, like, I mean, again, like, I think when you guys move forward and have your own shows and have your own platforms, you'll have to make those decisions as well, and I hope you guys make the right ones.
Yeah,
And also the fact, like you mentioned, कि लोग just religion को लेकर as a tool बनाकर आगे अपनी बातें पहुंचाते हैं. So the sad fact is कि the other people who are listening, they like completely agree to that without even, like, finding information. सही चीज़ को देखने के बजाय वो कहते हैं हाँ बस ये बंदा सही कह रहा है, उसकी पीछे की लॉजिक नहीं देखते, उसको प्रॉपर सर्च आउट नहीं करते. They're like, okay, ये कह रहा है ओके डन, तो
Yeah.
ये भी एक चीज़ है
हाँ, सबने
सोसाइटी में।
1.5 इंच की वो मस्जिद बनाई हुई है.
Yeah.
1.5 इंच की मस्जिद,
Yeah.
या एग्जैक्टली.
Again, like you, me, anybody else for that matter, we're not the final authority on religion, na? Like वो तो एक चीज़ decide हुई भी है. There is a book that exists that you can refer to at any time, and that is the final authority on religion.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also have to remember that we live in a country where we don't just have Muslims, we have people of all faiths, and that was the point of this country. That is what Jinnah said, like we
Yeah.
are supposed to be free to go to our temples and churches and whatnot. So what went wrong? Like, why are we not letting that happen?
Yeah, because when I first started I started seeing all these unfairness and injustice properly with a neutral eye, with my eye. तो मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आता था. I was so angry, and this is what we talked about in our first podcast about female aggression, the grief and the what do you call it? The grief, basically
rage.
the rage
Yeah.
that builds up into aggression.
Yeah.
And comes out in ugly ways, right? So I was so angry. My friend, she was telling her story that she wrote a book on that. She was that angry, and she had to project it somewhere. So and I admit उस वक्त मेरा ना बहुत ही rude और mean तरीका था लोगों से address करना इस बारे में. But like it's been 3 years and I'm learning, and I thank God, and I'm proud of myself that I'm like rationally,
progressing, yeah.
constructively talking about it.
ये जो aggression वाला phase होता है ना, ये हर किसी का आता है. And I'm not saying it's a phase. Those are very again, I did say it's a phase, but that part of life is very valid, because again you're sort of coming to terms with all these injustices. You are suddenly bombarded by statistics, and your eyes are open to, like, your friends are suffering. आपको realize होता है कि ओ अच्छा, like मेरे ख़ानदान में इतनी औरतें हैं जो सफ़र करती आ रही हैं, and ये conversations ही नहीं हुई कभी. तो there is a lot of rage that you grow up with. You also sort of, maybe I feel like every woman alive has been harassed in one way or another. And when you sort of, when you hear people say these things, you come to terms with the fact that okay, this has happened to me as well. And all of that rage builds up and it comes out. Like, you're right, 100%. Like, I've had an aggressive phase. I didn't know how to talk to people for like a good 5 years, and I've burnt a lot of bridges being that person as well. Am I apologetic for it? Sure, but those feelings were valid and they came from a very real place. And if I cannot channel my rage, let's say, like, if अगर मुझे साल में एक दिन भी नहीं मिलता अपनी rage channel करने का, like Aurat March, where I take a poster and I say कि खाना खुद गरम कर लो, what's so wrong about that? मैं ये तो नहीं बोल रही कि अपने आप को चमाट मार के अब, like, I'm not saying kill yourself. I'm saying, like, warm your own food. Like, it's not that big. Like, it's not that deep. Like, get over it. So yeah, I mean, what do we do with the rage? Where do we put it? Like, we put it on a poster, and that's not good enough. We save it for one day a year. That's not fine. We try to talk to our friends. We get isolated if we're in relationships with narcissists. So what do we do? If you have a better option, please let me know. I'm open to suggestions.
Please let us know too in the comment section.
So are you gonna go to the Aurat March on 12th?
I am.
Oh,
I've
okay.
gone every year, and I will go this year as well.
Okay, I've never actually gone to Aurat March because I would never get the permission to go. But I am going because I'm a university girl now.
Yeah.
I'm glad. So then I'll see you guys there. It'll be
Sure.
fun. Yeah. Aurat March is fun. It's very I'm not going to talk about the political aspect of things, because again, like, manifesto exist करता है, जाके पढ़ लो, खुदा के वास्ते अपनी research कर लो, please. Like, don't rely on people sitting at home to inform you of everything. Like, हाथ नहीं दर्द, I promise you, मैंने भी click किया था, तुमसे भी हो जाएगा पक्का. But I feel like Aurat March is just this amazing, like, there's this amazing sense of solidarity every time I've been there. There's even though it's like an open space, there's this sense of safety, and there's this sense of, like, every person here gets me in a certain way, and I get them, because we have similar experiences and we have shared experiences. Yeah, so I think Aurat March is great. I mean, definitely attend Aurat March, support such causes. Yeah, like, important होते हैं.
Yeah.
औरत
Okay.
मार्च में देयर इज़ अनदर टाइटल लाइक लोगों को दिया जाता है कि जो लड़कियां औरत मार्च में जाती हैं वो आवारा होती हैं, वो बच्चलन सी होती हैं, इस तरह के वर्ड्स यूज़ किए जाते हैं
Yeah.
औरत के लिए बहुत आराम से, बहुत कैजुअली. सो लाइक आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस हैव heard दिस फॉर आवरसेल्व्स. तो
Yeah.
आप लाइक हैव यू एवर heard for yourself
Yeah,
आवारा?
yeah. Listen to me. The first article that I wrote, no, not the first article, but one of the articles that I wrote for a certain publication, it was about feeling unsafe as a woman in Pakistan, and I still remember I was 18 when I wrote it, and all the comments were like, if you feel unsafe in Pakistan, I hope you get raped. I'm like, do you understand what you are saying? Like, do you understand that you are being my. Somebody's like, I hope a Taliban comes and like chops your head off. And I'm like, okay, fair, but do you understand that you're proving my point by saying these
What the
things?
hell?
And these were like when when you're 18, you have like a lot of like chul in you. So I was like, मैं जाके देखूं like like proper husbands with children in their profile pictures, and I'm like, really, you're gonna tell me, like, you're gonna say this to me? You have a kid, like, why would, like, so I mean, it's yeah, you get to hear everything. अभी आपने जो अल्फाज यूज़ किए वो तो बहुत प्यारे अल्फाज हैं. You get to hear so much. You get to hear so much, and you just, I mean, वही बात है, you roll with the punches. Like किसी के बोलने से I'm not gonna become like whatever they want to say. You want, if it makes you feel better, say what you have to. That's your problem. Take it to your therapist. If you aren't going to therapy, go to therapy. If you can't afford therapy, then I'm sorry, but it's not my
Die.
problem.
But
Yeah.
whatever word you're calling us with, I'll be more of that if you want.
I mean, honestly, you don't define me. Like, if you, I again, like, I've done the whole aggression thing, right? Now I'm trying to do the whole, like, Zen vibe and, like, okay, I'll try to help you out. And, like, I'm going to try to reason with this person. And when I hit a wall with the person, I'm just like, you know what, good luck. I don't have the emotional labor to expend anymore. I'm getting too old. Like, I've done it. I started when I was 18. I'm turning 28. I'm tired.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
So proud of you, man.
So no, this is exactly why we named our podcast हम आवारा.
हम
Yeah.
आवारा.
Because आवारा बोलते तो ठीक है, हम प्रूव करेंगे हम आवारा हैं, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
है हम आवारा, कर लो जो करना है.
I understand your spirit completely, and I'm really glad. Again, like, it feels good to be around young people who have so much energy. I used to be like that. Now I'm just like, मुझे तो आवारा भी नहीं बनना, मैं तो घर में बैठी हुई हूँ. I'm at home. Like, I'm doing my thing at home. Y'all do what you want. But and again, like, I would always support people like you who claim being avara, or like claim spaces that perhaps women are not allowed to claim, and I love that. And I think, in our individual ways we can continue to do that, whether that's you doing that through this conversation, whether that's somebody else doing that through an article, whether it's the organizers of Aurat March doing it through Aurat March. So yeah, do your thing, man. Like, just make sure you're not harming anybody, and, like, keeping things good. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I think we had a good conversation, very, very fruitful conversation. I enjoyed it a lot.
you.
And I'm really glad you came here all the way.
Yeah, thank you
yeah.
so much for coming to
It
our
was
podcast.
lovely having you here.
It was lovely talking to you guys.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
So Hafsa, let's
Let's-
wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. मज़ा आया होगा आप लोगों को बहुत interesting सी conversation सुन के. And let's meet you in the next episode. And हाँ, हमारी next episode बहुत interesting आ रही है. ये भी interesting है, इससे और भी interesting हैं. तो
Yeah.
बस.
Let's meet you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Okay, good job.